Joining us now, he is the National Affairs columnist for National Review, John Fund. John, you're a very important, connected figure in Washington, and therefore I know you've been listening to us all morning long, like all connected, important people in Washington. We have talked about Obamacare, the mess that's about to come upon us with it, and the unbelievable push the administration's using with Hollywood and various sports figures to try to sell this thing and push people onto the insurance plans covered by Obamacare. And we've also been talking about the NSA and the insidious nature of data collection and how dangerous that is. I read your article this last week. In a terrifying way, you have conjoined those two topics. Please explain.
Well, the desperation moves that the Obamacare advocates are taking to try to save it are truly remarkable. They're about to hire 175,000, quote, navigators, unquote. These are people who are going to help in the role all of the uninsured that the Obamacare people need in order to get the program going. You need young people in order to pay into the system to help pay for all the subsidies. It's basically a shell game. Now, these navigators are going to be hired. They're going to earn between $20 and $48 an hour. They don't have to have a high school education, and there will be no criminal background checks, which means if you're an identity thief, this is the happy hunting ground, because what the navigators will have access to is the federal data hub. This is a brand new consolidation of data from Social Security, IRS, Department of Veterans Affairs, you name it. It's going to have tax information on it. It's going to have personal information on it. And I mean, people in Congress are just agog because there's no security. Yeah,
that's, I mean, listen, you talk about navigators. I mean, it sounds like they're telemarketers, and their whole job.
Actually, in California, the Secretary of State has partnered with Obamacare to sign up people to register to vote. So there's a political element here.
That's the thing. It almost sounds like community organizing, but on steroids.
Community organizing. Guess who we elected president? A community organizer. This is the one thing he knows how to do well. Community organize.
All right. So the fact that they're spending so much money to sell it at a time when, look, I mean, the numbers are pretty clear. I don't know if you've seen this latest CBS poll, shows that 54% of the people who are surveyed about Obamacare say they disapprove of it. Only 36% approve. 39% want it repealed. 38% of those surveyed said they thought it would hurt them.
Well, it's even worse for the part of Obama's base. Over half of Democrats call themselves moderate or conservatives. Support for Obamacare, according to the latest Washington Post poll, has now plummeted with that group to 46%. He's losing his own base. After all, it was a Democratic chairman, Max Baucus of the Finance Committee, who said, this is a train wreck coming at us.
So this looming debate that's going to take place in the United States Senate is going to be one to really watch.
Look, if the Republicans really oppose Obamacare, the time is put up or shut up. And I think that there's a move by Senator Mike Lee of Utah who says, look, we have to defund Obamacare. We have to basically say we're not going to go along with money to subsidize this train wreck. And that'll come up, and obviously the Democrats are going to say you're going to try to shut down the government, and the Republican response will be, actually, we're going to pass money for everything in the government. We're just going to take out the part to make Obamacare start.
Hey, John, you're up in New York a lot of the time, and I wonder if you could reflect really quickly on the latest in your mayoral race up there. You've seen politicians in that town come and go, and I know that you watched with great interest your old friend Andrew Breitbart in the Weiner scandal 2 years ago. Can he make it? Can he actually survive this and win this race?
I think what's most remarkable is the extent to which people haven't been paying attention to this race, so a lot of the polls have just reflected name ID. Anthony Weiner and Elliot Spitzer have all the name ID in the world, and I don't think the race has really started for most people. I can't imagine that Anthony Weiner Elliot Spitzer has the advantage of having only one opponent, but Anthony Weiner he cannot survive a Democratic runoff, which will probably go to. I cannot imagine that people would want someone who is, shall we say, so distracted with problems in his life.
Right. Well, I understand that, but at the same time, it's all behind him, and it's a personal thing between he and his wife, so who are you to judge?
Well, I think there's a very important point that needs to be made. We're all forgiving people. We're all people who believe in second chances. But remember, Weiner had a relapse. He did this a year after he was resigning from Congress. He subjected himself to blackmail. You cannot have a mayor who has a personal behavior problem that subjects him to blackmail. That's why personal behavior does matter in public life. We don't want people being blackmailed.
So the president gave this big economic speech yesterday and really didn't offer a whole lot of new ideas. And most of the people we've talked to today, and I'm sure you would join in this assessment, that really there wasn't anything new in there, even though it was an hour and 6 minutes long. But he did repeatedly refer to the fact that Washington has taken its eye off the ball because they're looking at, quote unquote, all of these phony scandals. Any thoughts on that this morning?
Well, let's see. Phony scandals. The president in May said, I'm completely outraged at the IRS scandal. This is appalling. We have to get to the bottom of this. He was very outraged then. Is that a phony scandal? Let's see. Benghazi. The administration took the pain and effort to have all of these people who survived the Benghazi attack sign non-disclosure agreements so they couldn't meet with anyone in Congress. That seems unusual behavior. Is that a phony scandal? I mean,
well, the question I keep asking about all this is, if these are phony scandals, then why have you worked so hard to block and impede them?
Yes.
Well, as the IRS explained right after the scandal broke, their first press release began with the following words: mistakes were made. It's the same language Richard Nixon used to try to dismiss Watergate. It reminds me of the Star Wars movie. Those aren't the droids you're looking for. Move on, move on.
Yeah. Do you think this is going to reach into the White House, the IRS scandal? Because they now have it at the feet of this guy, William Wilkins, who was the general counsel, a political appointee, who apparently met with the president just a few days before all of these regulations came out for the people in Cincinnati about how they should handle the Tea Party applications.
Look, the scandal cannot be viewed through the prism of Watergate. Ever since Watergate, every president, including Bill Clinton, has known, you have plausible deniability. And the scandal may not reach the White House, but it will reveal a pattern of behavior, which was, we're not going to play by the Marquess of Queensberry rules. We're going to kneecap our political opponents. Remember, Henry II in the Shakespeare play never said, kill the Archbishop of Canterbury. He said, who will rid me of this troublesome priest? And the people who worked for him knew what he meant.
John Fund, National Review. My mind is still spinning at the idea of acorn types getting access to all Americans' private information under the guise of recruiting them.
But the government assures us that will never happen. Of course, that's the government that assured us WikiLeaks wouldn't happen, Edward Snowden wouldn't happen.
And assured us we could keep our doctor.
And assured us we could keep our doctor. And, of course, the IRS hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, check out the article. It's over at National Review. Just search Data Hub, and you'll find it. John Fund, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.